We are at the ACA Counseling Conference here in Honolulu, and I was here to give the keynote. I have a fondness for counselors because they have steered me through a lot of my life, namely my mom, who not only was she a counselor at school, but I got to benefit from that when she came home. I mean, it just when we first made Super Size Me, the goal was just to make a great movie, but kind of the impact that film had, the way that film grew, and just the way that I saw that it touched it and affected people kind of put me on a different path, to doing much more kind of socially conscious films and television shows. And it was never my intent. When I was a kid, I didn't, when I was growing up in West Virginia, like I wanted to make movies, I wanted to make Star Wars, I wasn't saying, I can't wait to go make documentaries, it's like I don't think I really knew what documentaries were until I was in like high school or college. And then I started watching them in film school, saw how good they were, and then it wasn't even until I was 30 and got the idea for Super Size Me that it became a reality. And then once you start working, it's a struggle. Every day is a commitment. Every day you have to want to make movies. You have to want to be a filmmaker. You have to want to be that kind of a storyteller. And times were tough. I mean, I got evicted from my apartment once. Basically, I had maxed out my credit cards to keep my company functioning. Had about $250,000 in debt. Still had my office though, so I was sleeping on a hammock in my office because I was like, we got it made. I still got an office, and I just never gave up and was just tenacious. So that's why I tell people all the time. They say, what advice can you give me, as a young filmmaker? And I say, don't quit. I said, if it's what you want to do, don't stop. Because I went to film school with a lot of incredibly talented people who are now really talented bankers and talented real estate brokers. Somewhere along the way, you either say, this is going to be my path, and you commit to it, or you don't. I mean, I tell people all the time, if you are at a place where you are confused, you feel lost, you feel hopeless, you feel any despair, talk to somebody. No matter what you're going through, there's someone there who will lend you an ear and will be just like, will just literally be nothing more than a sounding board for you to kind of talk about what's happening with you. And, throughout my life, I've sought counseling for a few different reasons, whether it be just like personal, emotional, fears or problems, or marriage counseling or marriage separation. It's to have somebody who can be kind of this outsider, but at the same time a trusted resource or a trusted friend that you can rely on means everything. Because sometimes we don't want to go to our friends, sometimes we don't want to go to our family, sometimes there's things that we don't want to talk about with them, and that's where counselors come in. And I mean, I'm thankful that I grew up in a house with one who showed me how valuable they are, because it made me actually not be afraid to go find one when I needed one. But I tell people all the time, just talk to somebody. When the minute you do that, there is a massive weight that just is lifted off your shoulders just when you start to share the beginning, just to be able to communicate whatever's going on in here with someone, just to let it out. Because the problem is, so many of us, we pit it up. It all gets pinned up inside of us because we feel like we shouldn't be weak. You shouldn't. If you're not feeling strong, then something's wrong. If you can't conquer your own problems, then you're broken. And sometime in our lives, we're all broken, and we just have to feel. We have to figure out how we get. How we put ourselves back together. Yeah. What's next? Well, we just finished shooting season 2 of our CNN show Inside Man, so that's next, and then we'll see after that. Hopefully we'll get to do that again and get to make some more movies. Yeah.